Before the leather, the shotgun, and the highway to hell, Mel Gibson was just a broke drama student in Sydney. Summer City, 1977, was his first film, and it barely counted. He was still at NIDA, not even out of acting school, and only got paid $400 for the whole thing. Not $400,000, $400. Student film energy all the way. Years later, Gibson straight up cringed when asked about it, called it rough, amateurish, and said he was just trying to figure out how to act in front of a camera. But for all the awkwardness, it did one thing right. It got him comfortable enough to say yes to the role that would change everything. Because the next time Gibson stepped in front of a camera, it was for Mad Max. Shot on a shoestring budget and pure chaos, Mad Max didn't just launch Gibson's career, it detonated it. The film exploded overseas, especially in Japan and Italy, before Americans even knew who he was. One year he was riding the bus, the next, global cult icon. But get this, Gibson only got paid 15,000 Australian dollars for the entire movie, less than what Netflix pays background extras now. And the movie? It made over $100 million off a $300,000 budget, holding a Guinness World Record for the biggest return on investment for years. So yeah, Mel didn't just break out, he blew up. Right after Mad Max turned him into a wild-eyed action star, Mel Gibson flipped the script completely with Tim. He played a gentle, mentally disabled laborer, and he played it so convincingly, people actually thought the role was autobiographical. Rumors started flying that Mel had a disability in real life. He didn't, he was just that good. The performance stunned critics. No guns, no leather, just raw vulnerability. It won him the AFI Best Actor Award and proved Mel wasn't just a wild man on wheels. He could actually act. After showing his soft side in Tim, Mel went full soldier mode in Attack Force Z and instantly regretted it. He later trashed the script as terrible, with dialogue so bad the cast was improvising scenes mid-shoot. Filmed deep in the mosquito-ridden jungles of Taiwan with no safety gear, the shoot was chaos. Snake bites, heat stroke, crew passing out. Mel was chain-smoking between takes, dripping sweat, and asking himself why he signed up for this mess. And to top it off, the movie bombed hard. By Mad Max 2, Mel Gibson wasn't just famous, he was worshipped. When he landed in Japan, fans mobbed his car like he was the Beatles. A year ago, he was broke. Now he was a leather-clad god at 25. And on set, total madness. Mel drove his own stunts in a rig that barely qualified as legal. One tire blew mid-chase, nearly launching him off a cliff. He walked it off and kept acting, still in character. He didn't shower for days, slept in costume, and ran through 100-degree outback heat fueled by nothing but cigarettes and Coca-Cola. Not method acting, madman acting. The year of Living Dangerously was chaos before the cameras even rolled. Originally set to film in Indonesia, the government found out the script was critical of their history and banned the entire production. So what did they do? Smuggled the cast and crew out of the country. Literally, Mel Gibson had to sneak out with the team, and they relocated the whole thing to the Philippines, under military watch. But the madness didn't stop there. While filming in Manila, real riots broke out. Tear gas, mobs, full-on political protests. At one point, local cops had to drag Mel and Sigourney Weaver off set to stop them from getting caught in the chaos. And then, Mel got upstaged. After the year of Living Dangerously, Mel went from global chaos to personal meltdown. Lethal Weapon wasn't just a role, it was Mel's real pain on screen. He admitted he related too well to Riggs. At the time, he was drinking heavy, spiraling, and cracking under fame. This wasn't acting, it was therapy with a gun. That rooftop scene? He actually jumped. No stunt double, just Mel in a harness, chasing raw eyes for the shot. He went so hard, early cuts scared audiences. They had to delete scenes, like Riggs playing Russian roulette, because Mel was too unhinged. And this was just the beginning. After unleashing all his demons in Lethal Weapon, Mel wasn't done. Lethal Weapon 2 turned the chaos up and made him a box office god. The movie made over $227 million, more than doubling the original. Mel had officially locked in his status, Hollywood's favorite lethal lunatic, the guy who could cry, crack jokes, and break necks in the same breath. And then came the toilet bomb scene. Murtaugh sits down to take a dump and finds a bomb under the seat. Riggs has to disarm it mid-argument, mid-poop, while holding hands. Mel took it way too seriously. After blowing up toilets and box offices, Mel chilled out, literally. In Forever Young, he played a test pilot frozen alive in a cryo chamber. Sounds soft? Try lying naked in a freezing metal pod for hours while cold vapor blasts your face. The cryo scene took 3 days to film, and Mel had to stay perfectly still. And while the film wasn't action-packed, it quietly made $128 million. A massive hit for a romantic sci-fi drama. Mel later shrugged, saying this, "It made money. That's all I remember." Underrated? Absolutely. But Hollywood was watching. Forever Young made hearts melt. Braveheart made legends. Mel didn't just act, he directed, mid-battle, blood on his face, yelling, "Pan left!" while swinging swords. Chaos. PETA tried to cancel him over horse scenes, until they found out he used robot horses. Yes, really. He even flashed the crew mid-fight. Kilt problems. Didn't want to star in it either. Studio forced his hand. Result? 5 Oscars. Legend sealed. Then he lit a cigarette and swore he'd never direct again. Liar. In Payback, Mel Gibson wasn't playing a badass. He was one. Cold, vengeful, and dead serious about getting his $70,000 back. And not a dollar more. The film pulled in over $160 million, but Mel still called it a bummer. Why? Too dark. Not funny enough. Needed more sex. I wanted it more me. That's after he reshot half the movie, rewrote the script, and took full control. Mel built it his way, then still hated it. And the method acting? Next level. He carried prop guns off camera, stayed strapped during lunch, and even pointed them at sandwiches like it was just part of his vibe.